right, you just saw the cookies go in. That was after refrigerating the dough overnight. I should say good morning to everybody. Is it still morning? Yes, it's 10 after 11. So the cookies went in, they came out, and they look just like the ones from yesterday. I know a lady that refrigerates all her cookie dough overnight, and her cookies are always, they're just so pretty. They're a little bit thicker. They don't spread like this. Anyway, these taste good, but I don't really like the way they look. And refrigerating the dough didn't do anything different. Last night, Joe and I went to Goodwill after we dropped Peter and Maria off at church and before I took him to Chips for supper. And we picked up a few things. So for Joe, picked up a pair of jeans. These don't even look like they've ever even been washed. I mean, nothing has any fade to it, not at all. These are really nice. These Wrangler Unlimited Comfort. They have a little bit of a stretch waistband. So I picked those jeans up for Joe. I think those were $7.99 or $8.99, I think. And then these were $6.99. These are just a Walmart brand. I believe Joe actually has these exact sweatpants, but these looked brand. Okay. I'm not judging you when I'm talking about the pants we got for you, and they're not even pilled. Like they look like they haven't even been washed. So I picked those up, even though they were $6.99. They're still, I want to say they're around $13. I paid $13 or $14 at Walmart. I did pick up these pants. Peter likes these kind of like thin, almost like athletic dress pants. I didn't take the tag off of these. These were $6.99 because he hasn't tried them on yet. But so we'll see. And then I picked up this little half shirt. No, I'm not going to wear it like just plain. But I thought it would be great underneath. I have like some spaghetti strap dresses. And I thought it would work great under spaghetti strap dresses when I want to be able to wear those like to church. I dress modestly for church and I don't show my shoulders. And so anyway, I thought this would work out great without adding like all that length and everything underneath a dress that gets kind of bulky. So I picked up that. And then I must be into black with floral print right now because both of these things really spoke to me. This is a top and it's kind of hard to see here. I should turn the light on too. All right, is that better? I turned the light on. This has like a smocked top. It has ruffly sleeves, which are all things that I absolutely love. It's got it's flowy. The back is just solid black, and I love this sort of hydrangea-y look or something like that. I thought I really like that. Then I found this skirt. It is a true like wraparound skirt. I will most likely stitch it. I might even stitch it right along here. I've done that to a couple dresses that I have. It works really, really well. Just stitch it in place so that it doesn't completely expose everything. It also has a high-low, so it kind of is a little bit higher in the front, and then the lower it dips down. And I thought this would be great here for fall with ankle boots. I have like black ankle boots, and it would be great even with my... Well, I don't know. I was thinking just kind of like maybe a white blouse and then a little denim jacket over it or something. Would be a great fall outfit. And I got a couple pairs of boot-cut jeans. I have one pair. I'm actually wearing them today. And last year I found that these were always dirty because I wear them all the time. And so I picked up a couple more pair. So these are Signature Levi Strauss, which I believe is just sold at Walmart or whatever. But still, even at Walmart, they're probably $25 to maybe even $30. And they were $8.99 jeans. That's what women's jeans are usually at least at our Goodwill, at least the Goodwill in our town. So $8.99. They didn't really look like they were worn a whole lot. They've kind of got like a little natural fading. And then these are Riders. Again, this brand, I believe, is sold at Walmart. I think you can get Riders at Fleet Farm. You used to be able to get it at Shopko, but these are kind of like a white cream, and they have a boot leg. And I thought with like some little brown boots, honestly, what I was really thinking, I didn't try it on all together at the store, but I was thinking this top with these white jeans And then I got this jacket. It's a real just lightweight. It kind of looks more of like an outfit jacket, if you know what I mean. I mean, there's no lining or anything. It is meant, you can clip this up. I don't think I would wear it that way. After I wash it, I'll iron this out so that this goes smooth. But just kind of this cute little jacket. So what I was thinking is these white jeans with this shirt, with this blouse, and then this little jacket over top of it. Because this kind of has a little bit of this kind of light tan or bone color. And I thought that would be a really cute fall outfit because I'm thinking fall. Today it's only around 60 degrees again. Not even, oh my goodness, it's only like 58, and that's about what it was yesterday. Just cool temperatures. We're supposed to have another 4 or 5 days in a row of cold temperatures, and that was why I actually put this on today. This is that mock turtleneck, just a short sleeve. I got it from Walmart last year. I'm not sure if I'm digging it so much with the striped shirt, but anyway, that's what I did because this still feels kind of summery to me. And I thought, well, a little fall, a little summer. I'm still holding on to the summer. All right, enough about fashion. I'm gonna get some bread going because we're gonna have that chicken noodle soup actually for supper tonight. And I thought, let's, all right, get out the bread machine. I am going to make rustic mini loaves, and I believe that's in cookbook 2. So let me find the recipe. So hold on, Joe. Rustic mini loaves should be right about here, right about here. Here? There they are. Okay, crusty mini loaves. I am constantly calling them rustic mini loaves. How are the cookies, Joe?
Good.
You like those?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm going to get all of these ingredients in. Feel free to screenshot this recipe here. I'm going to put all of those ingredients into my bread machine, get it set to the dough cycle. Joe is itching to turn on his music, yeah. Right? What?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he's itching to get his music turned on, so that's what I'm going to do.
It's on camera.
That's funny.
I look over and look right camera.
I forgot that was still running. I am not against bribing my kids. And today I bribed Maria. I let her use my phone and listen to her playlist outside swinging on the hammock, as long as she helped me with tomatoes first. So she helped out with tomatoes. We washed and washed. So I have a table. We picked tomatoes the other day, and I have a table out here, and this was plumb full. Joe was helping pick, so we had a good amount of tomatoes that had rot on them. Well, then of course that rot, I don't know, it like tends to make the other ones rot faster. So we had a lot of trimmings. That is a lot of trimmings. And there was some more that they already took out to the chickens. But that's okay. Every little bit counts. I have this pot going, and then I have this pot going, and as you can see, there's more out there. And these are all going to be for tomato juice. I make a lot of tomato juice. Sometimes I make more of like a V8 type of a juice where I put in onions and some celery and carrots. Sometimes I just cook down the tomatoes and call it good. It really just depends on time and what vegetables I have around and if there's anything particular that needs to be used up. I use the tomato juice for chili, for any kind of tomato-based soup, hug and kiss soup, the chili. I put it in stew, like a base for spaghetti. Some of my jars are more pulpy and some are more liquid. So when I'm grabbing off the shelf, I just pick the right jar for the recipe that I'm using. All right, so we're gonna let these cook down. I'm gonna put everything on low because I don't want anything to scorch. And get a lid on that one. Where's the lid? There it is. It looks like I only have 2 minutes, so I'm actually, excuse me, I'm gonna wait for the bread machine to finish. And then I will shape these. Then we're gonna go outside, go down to the garden and pick more tomatoes. I use those brand buds versus the traditional brand sticks that I had always gotten. And the dough definitely has a different texture to it. It feels stiffer. So I think the brand buds pack into the half cup tighter than the brand sticks. So it definitely feels a little different, I would say. But I'm gonna go with it. I'm just gonna roll these little loaves up here. I'm gonna get them kind of shaped into an oval. And get them onto a pan. The brand sticks, I've also found, seem to break down more in the dough, where these little brand buds are like still brand buds. They're like almost not even soft. Kind of weird. So we'll see. I've had people ask me in comments before if they can't find the brand sticks, what to do, and I always just suggested the brand buds or even brand flakes chopped up. Maybe that wasn't the best advice on my part. I don't know. I do feel like this is going to take a little while to rise today, so we're just going to get this on a greased pan. Let's set these on here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Wipe this off. That sounded like we were getting ready to learn a dance. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. Alrighty. And then I'm just going to cut. You can do 3 or 4 approximate ½ inch or so deep little cuts, just like that. I have Maria. I grabbed her again and I said, can you wash up another? Oh my gosh, my hair. It's been really windy the last couple of days. Maria's washing up more tomatoes. Joe's taking rotten tomatoes and scraps out to the chickens. Just kind of all hands on deck in between them having playtime. And I'm heading back to the garden here. I've got one of my trusty white freezer organizers. We're going to see what we can find in the garden to deal with today. I know we have more tomatoes that I should pick now so they don't all end up with those little rotten spots. I'll stand back here and give you guys a look at the early September garden. So broccoli never amounted to anything. 4 cabbages over there. They are all huge. They need to be dealt with. The few sunflowers here. Oh, and that one up there finally bloomed. Peter's been like, when is that super tall sunflower going to bloom? It looks like it finally did. Sunflowers over there have bloomed. They're now hanging, and those will let dry. And then if we remember, we'll cut those heads off and set them over, like out the kitchen window on one of the rocks, and then we can watch the birds come to them. That's kind of fun. I know there's going to be more little cucumbers in there. Not sure if I'm going to get anything done with those. You can see all of the orange tomatoes. Lots of peppers still. Probably not much for green beans. I picked about 4 handfuls, like good big handfuls the other day. Cooked those up, made them for supper. So not a lot for green beans. And then all the potatoes, the bucket potatoes, and then like the 10 that I planted that are amidst all of this tall grass. I don't have high hopes for them. We'll see. I'm not ready to harvest those yet. But we are going to start working through tomatoes. So like this, I'm going to pick this now. Oh, this one's already rotten on the bottom. Okay, so I'm not going to pick that one. Let's check this one here. Yes, this one is beautiful. No rotten spots. Just like a little blemish, but nothing that's like rotten like this. See, you're like, oh, that's not bad. And then look at the other side. Yuck. All right, so these two we're going to put in the bucket. So that's what I'm looking for. I like to brush off the sand as best I can. Anything with a little bit of orange tinge to it or yellow, I'm going to pick. They will ripen on that table. This one looked good, but the chipmunks really did a doozy on that one. Okay, same with that one. There's a beautiful one right there. Yeah, that one's got a little spot there, but otherwise it looks pretty good. That one's rotten. These look pretty good. Okay, let's bring the bucket down here. I'm really thinking salsa at this point. So with the tomatoes that we have in the house, as well as look at these bell peppers. I mean, they are such beautiful bell peppers this year. I should look if I save the tag. I think they're just California Wonder, which I planted a lot of times. And then all these jalapenos. And I had just read online, I was kind of looking up the colorations of jalapenos, and it was saying that before a jalapeno turns red, that it will turn kind of this blackish purple. And if you leave it on long enough, they will eventually turn red. So I don't know if I've necessarily ever had that happen with jalapenos. I know they've turned dark. I'm not sure if I've ever let them get to the red point, but maybe some of these will. I didn't pick every single jalapeno here. And my onions, I think I mentioned this last time. I've been just pulling onions. They're so tiny this year. I've already gone through 1.5 rows. So here's the question. And I never did get these weeded. So even with weed guard fabric, if you don't come through and do some weeding, at least in my garden, this is what happens. It's just solid weeds anywhere where there is not the fabric. So like here's my onions. Look at, they're like the size of a golf ball or smaller. I'm going to pull a bunch and we're going to let these, put these into the salsa right away. So none of my onions are going to be storing onions this year, just because they're little And I'm using them all in salsa. Do I have anything else there? Let's see, we'll get this one out. And we'll get that one. Ooh, that one doesn't want to come out. The stem broke off of it. There we go. Just pull a weed and that'll loosen up the soil. What else do we have here? Do we have another one right there? Yes, we do. Did it size up at all? Not much. I don't know if they didn't like this spot in the garden. I don't know if they just didn't like that I didn't get them weeded enough. Or if it just wasn't the year for onions. Like I said in one of my other videos, some years I can grow these enormous onions, and my peppers, there are hardly any size to them at all. But as you've seen, this year my peppers are enormous. But nothing to, these onions are nothing to write home about though. So, do I have anything over in here? There's one. The red onions aren't bad. I could put some red onions. They are a little bit, I guess not really. Oh, that one's rotten. Okay. Maybe they didn't like that we got a lot of rain this year. They didn't quite dry out like a lot of years. Huh. I don't want to put these in with that because all of those vegetables are so clean. I decided to move on to cucumbers, and look at this biggie. It's like you come out here and pick all the time, and I've been finding all kinds of cucumbers that are just the right size here for pickling and everything, and then all of a sudden you turn back one leaf. And that's what you find. It's like, where was that hiding? How do they hide? I don't know. It happens every year though. We got some good slicing cucumbers too. Here's a nice one I'll pick. The breads have risen. I'm in from the garden, obviously. And I need to make the little wash to go on top of the breads. Now, the recipe, okay. The recipe calls for an egg yolk and a teaspoon of water. Sometimes I just use the whole egg and I just beat it up, but I'm actually going to follow the directions today. Come on. Get all of that off. Just going to use my 1 cup that I measured flour in. So I have the egg yolk in there. Put just a smidge of water. And just whisk that up with a fork. Now on top of this bread, one of the things I think makes it so good is to have some sort of topping of that has a little bit of salt in it. So I really like using everything bagel seasoning. I do believe when I first found this recipe, whenever that was, that they just topped it with, I want to say like poppy seeds or something. Warren's not a huge fan of poppy seeds, so this doesn't have as many in it. And the addition of that little bit of salt really sets off this bread. So I'm just going to use my egg wash. I'm going to make sure that it gets into these little cracks as well. This will make the bread get a really pretty shine to it. It just really takes it up a notch, I think. Homemaking is not just getting things done. That is something I've learned over the years. I mean, when I was a new mom, it really was just get it done. There was so much of homemaking that just felt like I needed to get it done and move on to the next thing. But I found that as I age and as I just have more experience with being a wife, a mother, a homemaker, just general life experience, I find that I tend to enjoy slowing down for a moment and actually taking my time with certain tasks and just really putting my heart into it. All right, put on some of this bagel seasoning as much or as little as you like. I just think this really makes it delicious. I'm gonna warm up the oven to 375. These will have just a little bit more time to rise. And I just set up my food mill. So I always have, so in my Amazon like storefront, which if you guys aren't familiar with that type of thing, so I can put things into my Amazon storefront, and they're things that I use or as close to the item that I have. And then if you guys make purchases, even if it isn't on my list, just if you clicked over to Amazon through my link, I get a little percentage of that. It's somewhere between, well, they do run sometimes specials on certain items, like it might be technology, or it might be books, or it might be something like that. I get a little higher percentage if you make a purchase of something in those, something in like one of those categories, but it's normally around 2 or 3%. But you know what? It all adds up. Some months I get like $85 that I make off of my affiliate links. It doesn't change the price for you. It just gives a little kickback to me for sending you over to Amazon. It's like them saying thank you for sending customers our way. In my Amazon storefront, I do have one of these linked. There's so many different brands, and mine is Back to Basics brand that I purchased locally at a health food store. I've said this before, like probably back in maybe somewhere between 1999 and 2001, I would think that that's when it was. Maybe as early as 1998. Gosh, it's hard for me to say, but anyway, I do find these different brands, like Johnny Appleseed is a great brand, Victorio is a great brand. I'm not sure if Back to Basics still makes these anymore. They may have like changed names or got bought out by another company. I don't know. But anyway, they all work the same. You have an auger inside of a screen. You dump the food into here. You crank the handle here. It pushes the food that you want through the screen, and anything else goes out this end, like the skin, the seeds, the stems, whatever, you know, kind of like the waste product of the vegetable. So this is what I use for so many things. And today I'm going to use it to make tomato juice.
This is empty.
Okay, great. The timer is going off, and that is for my first batch here of tomato juice. So I turned off the heat. I'm just gonna let it rest there for a little while. I just turned off the heat for this salsa. So years ago, I used to almost always make like a strained salsa, just because my older kids didn't like chunks so much. They liked a smoother salsa. Now the younger kids, they don't seem to care if it's chunky or smooth. Warren and I really like it chunky, but today I was just like, you know what? I just feel like making it smooth because it was just gonna be easier to not chop everything first. I just kind of left everything in large chunks. I'm gonna run it right through here. Since I'm doing tomatoes, I can just run everything through here. Well, it has been a day. It has been a day of canning. We got through that entire table of tomatoes today. The last 5 quarts of tomato juice are in here. I had a little issue with, no, that's the soup that I made yesterday that we're gonna have for supper tonight. I had a little issue with the tomato, with the salsa. So I remember in years past running my salsa through, didn't go as I had remembered it going, and it is extremely, extremely spicy. So I'm thinking what I'm gonna do with this, since it's actually more just like a super, super spicy tomato sauce. I may jar it up and can it like that. I still haven't made up my mind. I also am thinking I could just add it to another batch of salsa that I make my regular way, chunky. And so I'm kind of thinking that I might do that. Honestly, my brain, it's 7:30. I am so hungry. Maria is so hungry. She came to me a little bit ago and she's like, I'm about to ruin my appetite. I'm so hungry. So she wants something to eat. Everybody wants something to eat, but the bear hunters are still in the woods and I like to eat together. So we're gonna wait until they come out, which should be shortly. I'm thinking they'll be back by about 8 o'clock. And then we will sit down together to our little crusty mini loaves and chicken noodle soup. So I had made the chicken noodle soup yesterday, and now tonight we are going to eat it, and it is going to be delicious. And thank you guys so much for sticking with me in yet another video. I hope that you guys are enjoying these, that you find them uplifting, maybe relaxing, maybe they inspire you to get into your kitchen, do some cooking and some baking and canning and things in your kitchen. So I hope that you guys have a fantastic night. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you all soon. Bye.